What up, everybody? Welcome to the Nick Saenz Show with your host, Nick Saenz. Today is a very special day because it's our inaugural episode. So, strap in, let's get into it. What you can expect from this show is a deeper view into my life as an artist, the music that I make, and a bunch of other shit. What I genuinely hope you can get out of this show is by seeing a much deeper view of who I am, how I approach life, how I approach my music, that it can enrich the experience of listening to my music. And also, hopefully, as somebody that is simply trying to follow their dreams and live a meaningful, purposeful, happy life, there are things that you can take from it as well. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first segment is something I like to call Behind the Photo, where I show some random photos from my reel that I've taken over the past few days. So let's get into it. This was actually from yesterday when I was going outside for my morning walk, because even though I live in suburbia now, the habits of New York City are not so easily erased. And if I'm not walking in the morning, at least for a little bit, I don't feel good. I don't feel right. Good, right. Such complex adjectives. But you know what? This is our first episode, so I'm just going to say what my brain has to put out there. This is a house that is in my neighborhood, and as you can see, perched on the top. I'm still not used to the green screen yet, but perched on the top there is something called a turkey vulture. Naturally, when I think of vultures, I think of that one scene from Snow White, where the two guys they're basically evil. They're just talking shit on Snow White, and they know that the queen is gonna fucking kill her or whatever, and they just don't care because they're evil. And if Snow White didn't sell it for you, let me show you these guys up close so you can see how sinister they are in person. This is what a turkey vulture looks like up close and personal. And as you can see, they basically bear the resemblance to a hawk, with the slight difference that all of the skin has been melted off of their face. It's basically like if you threw a birthday party and you had a bobbing for apples bucket, and instead of filling it with water and apples, you filled it with battery acid and bombs. But the funniest part about these turkey vultures is that they all congregate on my one neighbor's house, and they just poop constantly and torrentially on my neighbor's roof. And there's absolutely nothing that can be done about it, because in the state of Pennsylvania, because they're migratory birds, they are completely protected. You cannot shoot them. You cannot talk to them with an attitude. And after doing just a little bit more Googling, I found out that they are actually even nastier than they look. So for a self-defense weapon, apparently they vomit at you with stomach acid that is so acidic, it's literally below battery acid. I made a joke about battery acid earlier, but the acid that is in this bird is more caustic and more gnarly than fucking battery acid. And they also poop on their feet to cool them off, because their poop is runny, so it acts like a sort of shit sweat that cools off their feet when they're flying. And also, they're known to vomit a bunch, because sometimes if they find a fresh kill, a fresh carcass or whatever, they'll literally just park there and eat until they physically can't fly anymore. They're too fat. So they will throw up some of what they had and then fly off into the distance to do whatever they do in their spare time, which I only imagine is communicating directly with the devil. So that was the photo of the day. And our next segment here is a little bit more serious. It doesn't have to be, but today it is. It's a segment called, I don't know what it's going to be called, but it's where I read a little bit of my journal entry, unedited, uncensored. I'm strictly just reading what I write down in my daily journal. It might be from today, it might be from a little bit ago, but I only started journaling about 6 months ago in February. Yeah, 7 months ago. So you know that it's pretty recent. So, and I hope just by being honest about some of the things I'm thinking about as I'm going through this experience of being a full-time artist and trying to realize my dreams, trying to plan, trying to make stuff happen, trying to make the music that makes my soul happy, it's a challenge. It's a huge challenge, and I have a lot of thoughts and opinions about the ways that I want to go about it so that I can feel the most fulfilled and the most happy. So here's a journal entry. I want to read it to you now. Last night, I was starting to go off the rails a little bit. I think this is probably the most grueling and uncomfortable part of being an artist, not knowing what to do next. When there are simply too many options, and they're all equally calling my name without a clear priority, so any turn feels like a turn in the wrong direction. Picking one task is met with the cries and shouts of every other task screaming out, "Wrong move! You should have picked me." I think that's why writing out my thoughts, coupled with meditation, is so incredibly important to my music. And the funniest part is it has absolutely nothing to do with music at all, but it has everything to do with creating a calm space within which I can get really clear about what I want at a fundamental soul level, and simply working backwards from there. So that journal entry gave me a little bit of clarity that, hey, right now I'm feeling stressed out because I just don't know what to do. I have a few options, but none of them, I haven't spent the time, the mental energy to actually sit down, write it out. Hey, these are the possible things that I could do right now. Which one makes the most sense for where I am right now? So that's literally actually what I did. I wrote it down. There were 5 different options. They all had to do with this show, actually. Getting a little meta here, but I wasn't sure exactly which segments I wanted to do first or which ones I wanted to do at all. And it was making me stressed out, and it prolonged the process of just me getting in front of the camera here for you today. So, apologies for the meta. I try not to get meta too much, but hey, that's where we're at. That's not uncommon. I think at any point, it's kind of an expected lurch where you work on something for a little while, it's going well, you have a direction, you got your purpose, everything is lining up. But then as you start to finish up and you're figuring out what to do next, there's like this space where you're not quite sure where to land and then where to pivot from there. So that's why I spend so much energy planning with my music and with my life, is because I really don't like that space where I'm not sure what to do next. And in general, I've always thought that was the pits, being in a place and you don't know where to step forward. And I think that paralysis, a lot of the times for me, would stop me from moving forward. So I've learned myself, and I think for other people as well, as when I was a software engineer, I would manage other engineers, and I saw this with them as well. So I think it's kind of just like a universal thing that, hey, not knowing what to do next sucks. So let's list out the options, just think through it a bit. We'll pick one, and hey, the worst case scenario, we pick one, it fucking sucks. We learned that it sucks, and we try a different one. Our time isn't that precious. If you can pick something, make some moves, you will learn some stuff. And then, hey, if it ends up being the right thing, fantastic. If not, we learned some stuff. Let's try the next thing and we'll be better for it. So all in all, what I think I wanted to say with that journal entry is that not knowing what to do next is a natural progression of your journey, and it will happen from time to time. Doesn't make it feel any less crappy, but just know that writing down the potential next steps and just thinking through it and picking one, time box it, do whatever you have to do to say, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to have one thing that I'm going to try from here. It will make you feel a lot better, I promise. All right, hope you enjoyed that segment, which was me reading from my journal. Now for the final segment of the show, I want to do a little tiny desk variation where I get to show you some of the music that I've been working on or some of the music that I'm about to release, which is very, very exciting because I haven't really been able to perform at a show in a little bit, and I think that this is just the tits anyway. So welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that segment. Honestly, I journal every single day, and it's something that I can't live without. It's helped me process things at a level that I just simply couldn't do before. So I highly recommend giving it a try, and hopefully through this show and me showing you how it kind of affects my thinking and how it changes the way that I operate, and for the better, you might consider giving it a try. So for this next segment, I want to bring it back to the music because that's what I fucking do. That's what I'm here for. So I want to give you a sneak peek of a song that I have coming out this Friday. It's called Brand New. It is brand new, and it's basically about the kind of like the goosebump feeling that you get when you feel there's something on the horizon, or that you just got something figured out that you've been kind of it's been cloudy for a while and now it's a clear day, and that it's exciting. It's exciting almost unlike anything else when you feel like, oh, this is right. This feels right. This is the path. You feel invincible. It's like, I figured that shit out. I'm living with purpose. I'm doing my fucking thing. So this song is all kind of a tribute to feeling like you got it all figured out. And when you do, feeling brand new. So let's get into it. I'm so excited for this to come out. It's just so good.
Electric feeling in my skin. Feels like I got this power rising. Found the beauty in my sins. I squinted from the wind, speeding towards the horizon. I came from nothing, started back. Always call me quarterback. Made my net a water, yeah. Everything I ever wanted. Whoa, and it's got me feeling brand new. Like everything I feel is brand new. Everything I ever dreamed of for when I was young. Everything I ever dreamed of for when I was young. And it's got me feeling brand new. Like when I look at my hands and I don't recognize myself anymore. I'll never give up no more, no more, no more, no more, no more, no more.
Yeah, buddy. And thus concludes the first episode of the Nick Saenz Show. I hope you had a great time. And as always, thus concludes the first episode of the Nick Saenz Show. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very excited. And I hope you are too. If you liked any of the music or anything that I've had to say here today, please either share the music, this video, or just send me a message and tell me that you liked it. Honestly, that's good enough for me. As always, from me to you, I hope you have an amazing day. And as always, rock on.